Welcome to Korean from Zero. Today we're going to be learning about that circle thing that we see in Korean in multiple spots and letters. It's very important while also a little bit tricky. We do learn about it in this book right here, Korean from Zero, Book 1. Let's start with a quick quiz from last week. And if you want to skip the quiz, you can go to the following time index right here.
Are you ready? Let's learn Korean. It's never too late. Taking you from zero to fluent. Korean from zero.
The way we're going to do this is a Korean word will show up on the screen and your job is to read it out loud. You have to read it out loud. Then immediately after you say the English word out loud, you must do both out loud, because it's easy to fool yourself and say, I knew that was it, when you really didn't. Trust me. Here we go. First word is this. We need a sound like
한국, 한국,
Korea. Good job. Next one is this.
남자, 남자,
If you said man, you got it. And this one is a very important word. We all need it.
돈, 돈,
You never give me your money. It's money. And this one.
사람, 사람,
If you said person, you got it right. Now we're going to combine two of them into this.
한국 사람, 한국 사람,
If you said 한국 사람, you were correct. It is a Korean person. Good job, everybody. I'm certain I heard quite a few of you actually say the word out loud. However, I know Brian wasn't doing it. And honestly, you've let me down, Brian. I tell you to say it out loud for a reason, Brian. Come on, man. Do you really want to learn Korean? Or is it just a game to you? All right, let's do a quick dictation quiz. Remember that listening will be your most important skill. If you hear a word wrong, you won't know what's being said. So listen to the word and write it down. Then next to the word, write its meaning. Brian, go get paper now. Hit pause and go get paper. Dictation is hard. It is hard. You won't do as well at this most likely, but that's okay. You'll get better over time. Make sure your speakers are up. Make sure you're ready to listen. Here we go. The first word is this.
손, 손, 손,
Pause if you have to.
손,
The answer is 손, hand. I have to give you a hand. You did a good job with that one. Next one is this.
책, 책, 책,
It means book.
책,
A little bit of promotion for the books. Check. All right. Next one. I hope you have a lot of these in Korea. I certainly do. They're very friendly people. What is this?
친구,
Write it down, Brian.
친구,
It means friend.
친구,
All right, but what if you're in Korea and you're trying to go somewhere? You might need one of these.
택시, 택시,
Yeah, that's one of those English borrowed words. It is a
택시,
taxi. Now we're going to have one more bonus combo word from the first list added to one in this list, and it is this.
남자친구, 남자친구,
I don't need one of these, but someone does. Boyfriend.
남자친구.
Let me know how well you did. Each question is worth 2 points, first for the Korean and one for the translation, with a total possible points of 20. All right, let's talk about that little circle in Korean writing. It is called an ieung. And it has two functions, okay? The first, it's used to make what we'll call just pure vowels. Now, we've already learned this in video 4 of this series, but let's review. To make a pure vowel, you put ieung in the very first position and then add the vowel right next to it or below it, depending on how the vowel is situated. So for example, for the sound ah, We start by adding ieung, and then we add the vowel a right next to it, and that sound is read as a. And for u, we'd have the ieung, and below it we would put the u sound. Just remember that if the vowel has that vertical line, okay, it's gonna go on the right. And if it has a horizontal line like u, it's gonna go below it. Now, just to make sure that you understood it, I'm going to throw a few of the pure vowels up on the screen and you try to read it. Here's the first one.
요,
Second one.
이,
Third one.
에,
Fourth.
와,
And final one.
어,
All right, so that's a good review of what we already know about pure vowels, but now let's see what happens when the ieung is not in the first position, but it's in the final position. When ieung is in the final position, it's read as ng, sound. Matter of fact, the name of the character itself, ieung, uses itself to explain it. So if we have this character, for example, with a gyok, an a, and ieung, it's read as kang. It's the first character in Gangnam, which even if you aren't studying Korean, you would know is from Gangnam style. Okay? Gangnam means, by the way, south of the river. And whenever I go to Korea, that is exactly where I stay. And did you know, it surprised me, there's actually a north of the river. There's Gangbok. I didn't know that until I got there. I was like looking on the map for Gangnam to find out where I was. Turns out right above the river, the north of the river is Gangbok, because Gang is, it's a river. So north and south of the river. Fun to know. And Gangnam is the rich area. I literally, when I went to Korea, had no idea where I was going to go. I just always go to Gangnam. It's great. You'll love it. There's also Hongdae and other cool places, Itaewon and places like that. But for me, it's Gangnam. You let me know where you like to go in Korea. All right. So we know that ieung, when it's in its final position, is read as ung. So what is this sound? Nong. Correct. This is the first letter of the word joke in Korean. So let's try to read the full word. It is this. 농담. It really is that simple. If the u is in the first position, it's silent, and in the final position, it's just the ung sound. So now let's see what happens when you have ieung in a word twice, which is something you can do. What does this sound represent? Yeah, it's ang, ang. When you hit that ng sound, it's in the back of your mouth. It's not up front. It's really important that you get this right. If you mess this up, Koreans will not understand you, and they definitely will correct you. I've had this problem so many times in Korea. If you have a sound that has the ieung in it, it's got to be that back of the throat. Ang, 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 ang. And the un sound, that niun, that squared off one, that's an, an, an. And they will do that with their mouth. I feel like I already told you this, guys, but there was this Japanese girl that I met in Korea, and we talked like all the time. But whenever we were talking, we did it in Korean, and she would always look at my mouth like super intently, and it was a little bit weird. It was like off-putting, you know, because who looks at your mouth? But I realized if you look at Koreans' mouths when you're talking, it's so much easier to understand what they're saying. For example, when you've got the two vowel sounds for u and it's the same sound, it's just a different shape of the mouth. So you'll see them, they'll be talking and they'll be like blah, 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 and you'll see the little oo sound go in their mouth. And when they do the other way, it's like And some words are very close, but have that different oo sound. And you can tell by just looking at their mouth. It's the same thing with the ieung. It's like, well, depending on the vowel, it's it could also be ang, but you can see that their mouth doesn't have their tongue coming forward. So a lot of times you'll see that tongue in the front of their mouth with the sound. All right, guys, we've learned everything we need to know for this lesson, and up to this point, you should be masters so far. Well, not really. It's okay to not be that good. It's okay to fumble a little bit. It's just the nature of learning, but over time, you should get faster. Here's part of how we're gonna do that. I'm gonna throw you some words up on the screen. You're gonna practice reading it, and it's also important for you because you're not just a Korean child learning. You also need to know the English. You're gonna read it, and then you're gonna say the English. Here we go. 안녕, goodbye. 아이, child. 이야기, a story. 이야기. 이유, a reason. 우산, 우산, umbrella. 한국어, 한국어, Korean language. 방, a room. Yoga, yoga. That's an easy one. 농담, 농담, a joke. This one's not a joke. 오염, 오염, pollution. 동물, 동물, animal. And 공항, and 공항, 공항, airport. All right, guys. Let me know how you did. See you in the next Korean from Zero video. Bye. 다음에 봐요. Bye bye.
Korean from zero. You heard about Korean through Gangnam Style. You've thought about learning for quite a while. Well, now's the time to learn to speak before your body hurts and your bones are weak. Only time can tell how good you'll get, but if you don't start now, it's something you'll regret. So let's crack open the book and start right away. The best time to learn was last year, the second best time today.